Good morning. I hereby call this meeting to order. I'd like to recognize Mr. Bobby Stem with the Association of General Contractors, please. Welcome, Bobby. Commission Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn here.
Mr. Studeville?
Studeville here.
Mr. Shannon?
Here.
Mr. Freimiller? Mr. Dyson?
Dyson here.
Mr. Alexander? Mr. LaForge?
LaForge here.
Mr. Junk?
Junk here.
Mr. Peterson?
Here. Thank you. Director Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, want to open the commission meeting with a little bit of a somber note. As you gentlemen have been informed, we lost a member of the ODOT family. A week ago today, Jaden Jackson, one of our heavy equipment operators in District 2, was tragically killed in a work zone, again on Monday, December the 30th, while performing patching operations. So we certainly are reminded of how dangerous a work zone is and how dangerous our workplace is. And again, when we lose a member of the ODOT family in an event like this, it shakes the entire agency to our core. And we want to, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, observe a moment of silence in Jaden's honor.
Of course, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had scheduled this morning to have our Pharaoh Award. We are going to postpone that, so Kent Pharaoh can be in the house with us whenever we present it. And given the weather conditions, we thought it was wise to wait for a better day, so we'll try that again in February. I do at this time want to invite Brent Burwell and Sean Davis to the podium to present the some Concrete Pavement Association awards. So,
Thank you.
Brent.
Thank you, Director Gatz. Okay. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
members of the commission.
Good morning.
Thank you for letting us be here today to recognize some great concrete pavement jobs. I love doing this because there's so many people that work on these projects that don't get recognition. So anytime that we can recognize those people for the good work they did, I'd love to take advantage of it. These are the best of the best. When I say that, these projects, to be eligible for this award, must have won their own state award. So they've been kind of through one elimination round. So like I said, they truly are the best of the best. We've got 2 such projects this year that are winners, brought back gold awards from the National American Concrete Pavement Association Awards. And each one of them are unique in their own right. Our first award's for a section of US 69 in southeastern Oklahoma. And not only is it a great project, but it's a good example of how the people at ODOT work to get every dollar they can out on the roads of Oklahoma, because it was the winner of a Fast Lane Award, is that correct? And probably one of the largest projects awarded in Oklahoma. Not only that, it was a terrific boon for the local economy down there in that part of the state. So we're very proud of that project. So with that, I'd like to call up the award winners. And this is for US 69 near Calera in Bryan County. Design engineer was CE Corporation. It was ODOT District 2. Provided the supervision, and the contractor was Do It Construction Company. Please come on out. Oh, sure. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Our next award was built in the city of Stillwater, section of US 177, also known as Perkins Road. If you're not familiar with that area, I'd say it's one of the busiest routes through the city of Stillwater, from McElroy up to Lakeview Drive. And the commercial activity along either side of the road is just incredible. And being such, traffic or the prevention of disruption to traffic was paramount on that project. And I'd say that the ODOT and the contractor did an outstanding job of coordinating their efforts to minimize those disruptions. Another unique thing about this job was that it gave us a chance to partner with Federal Highway Administration and showcase their mobile concrete trailer. If you're not familiar with that, that's a program where the Federal Highway Administration has a mobile lab that has state-of-the-art materials testing equipment in it. And they show off not only state-of-the-art equipment, but the latest techniques for testing. And we had a chance to have that on the project for a couple weeks, and it was a real honor to be able to host them. So with that, I'd like to call those award winners up. For US 177 Perkins Road in Stillwater, design engineer was Olson. This ODOT District 4 Stillwater Residency, and the contractor was Do It Construction Company. Come on up, you guys.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make an introduction this morning. Our new Enterprise System Services Director, Lance Underwood. Lance is going to oversee the agency's information technology, data management, and business services area, continuing to work on ODOT's initiatives and strategic efforts to keep the department in step with the rapid advancements with the IT industry. Lance will continue to coordinate with our partners, OMES. We've got Tab Pierce with us also here, who is our OMES representative, technology representative, and does a great job for us. Lance has a background in IT project management in academia and the private sector. He's been working with the department since 2021, and most recently has been helping us coordinate as our third-party solutions manager, working with our vendors. We are extremely excited to have Lance step into this new role and look forward to working with him going forward. So, Lance, welcome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Item 1 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on December 2nd, 2024. Do I have a motion for approval of item 1?
LaForge, so moved.
Thank you. And a second, Commissioner Shannon. Thank you. Any discussion? All right, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Consent docket contains items 2 and 3. If any commissioner would like to pull an individual item out for discussion, he may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Colbert.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Waiting for the screen to cycle. Everyone's voted. Motion passes. Item 4 is a programming item. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Agenda item 4 is a request for approval to program a project to repair vehicle impact damage to 91st Street over US 75 in District 8, Tulsa County. Estimated cost of this project is $50,000 using state aid funds. The project will be ready for an April 2025 letting. The party responsible for the damage is known and approval is recommended. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 4?
So move.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Item 5 is engineering contracts. Mr. Hernandez, you're recognized to continue.
Okay. Item 5, Part A is in District 1, Wagner County, City Bridge over Coweta Creek. The proposed project improvement is to replace bridge on existing alignment. The department has chosen Consor Engineering to provide these services, and their contract value is not to exceed $103,939. The project is included in the Bridge Formula Program approved in the November 6, 2023 Commission meeting. Part B is in District 5, Washita County, State Highway 54. The proposed project improvements are to add shoulders to a 2-lane facility and safety improvements. The department has chosen MacArthur Associated Consultants to provide these services, and the contract value is not to exceed $1,707,480. The project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. Approval of the engineering contracts are recommended, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 5?
Move for approval, LaForge.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Colbert.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 6 is engineering contract supplements. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to continue.
Okay. Item 6, Part A is statewide. This is for on-demand grant writing and coordination. This is the first supplement. The department has previously selected 6 consulting firms to provide these services. They are CPNY Incorporated, doing business as STV Infrastructure, Garver, High Street Consulting Group, H&TB Corporation, Jacobs Engineering Group, and Kimley Horn and Associates. Total aggregate increase for these contract supplements is $1,500,000. Part B is in District 1, Wagner County, State Highway 51. Proposed project improvements are to add shoulders to a 2-lane road. The department has previously chosen Craig and Keith Line to provide these services. This is their first supplement. Supplemental value is not to exceed $7,500. The project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2026. And Part C is in District 8, Craig County, US 60. Proposed project improvements are to add capacity to roadway and intersection modifications. The department has previously chosen Smith Roberts Balschweiler to provide these services. This is the second supplement. Supplemental value is not to exceed $1 million. And the project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2026. And approval of the engineering supplements is recommended. And if you're looking at the summary, you might not see the supplement values, but it is in the agenda items later in the packet, so.
Very good. It's a big project there. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 6?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Studeville.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Item 7 is change orders with cumulative total of $150,000 or less. This is for information only. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item number 7, parts A through AA. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $150,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only, and no action is necessary, but I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions.
There are no questions. Mr. Leonard, you... Yes, please.
Chairman, this is a structural question I'm sure you've answered before. Are these limits statutory or are those internal,
They're defined by the administrative code,
administrative code?
the
Okay.
commission rules, yes.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
We just upped it several meetings ago from 75 to 150, but thinking that was a more appropriate number these days, so. You
The-
recognized,
We had changed the rules to 150 several years ago, but we had never
adopted it. That's right.
adopted it,
That's right.
implemented it.
Very good. Well said. Thank you. You're recognized to present item 8, change orders with cumulative
you.
total greater than $150,000.
Thanks, sir. Yes, item number 8, parts A through J. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $150,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
And those were reviewed in detail in our subcommittee meeting with Commissioner Junk and myself. So thank you very much. So you've heard that presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 8?
Motion, Junk.
Commissioner Junk, thank you. And a second?
Second.
Commissioner Shannon, any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 9 is assignment of certain contracts for highway construction. Mr. Davis, you're recognized to present.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 9, this is an assignment of certain highway contracts for construction. This is an agreement between J&R Sand Company Incorporated and Haskell Lemon Group, LLC. J&R Sand Company Incorporated and Haskell Lemon Group, LLC have entered into a certain assignment and assumption agreement dated the 12th day of November, 2024, in which J&R Sand Company Incorporated has agreed to assign 6 of its contracts for highway construction to Haskell Lemon Group, LLC. The department approves of this agreement and requests the Commission's consent to this assignment of contracts listed in the agreement to Haskell Lemon Group, LLC by a resolution of the Commission pursuant to state law at Title 61, Section 120. And just for your information, there was a purchase made. J&R Sand Company has been bought out by the Haskell Lemon Group Company, and this assignment of contracts just helped them on their pre-qualification and get it done a little bit quicker so they can start bidding contracts again.
Good. And this was discussed also in our subcommittee meeting. So, thank you. So item 9, you've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 9?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Coburn.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 10 is negotiated settlement of a contractor's claim. Mr. Davis, you're recognized to continue.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, this is a negotiated settlement of a contractor's claim with APAC Central Incorporated. This is in District 8, State Highway 20 up near Skiatook. This project was a grade, drain, surface, and bridge contract awarded by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission on February 3rd, 2020 to APAC Central Incorporated for a total contract amount of $15,450,000. Contract time was 350 calendar days. There are 2 parts to this settlement. The first is for extended job site overhead. Multiple utility delays, along with differing site conditions, caused the contractor to alter the work schedule and to be on site much longer than expected, and as a result, the contractor incurred significant overhead costs that could not have been anticipated in their original bid. The total documented amount for this delay is $279,092.42. The second part of this settlement is for differing site conditions. Once earthwork operations for the project began, the contractor encountered large areas of unsuitable subgrade that had to be removed and replaced with additional borrow material, which significantly slowed production. Because of these conditions, The contractor's means and methods also had to be altered to include the opening of a second borrow pit, which increased haul distances, and the necessitated use of smaller equipment due to these unforeseen conditions, which decreased production even further. The total negotiated amount for this item equals $667,228.28. Supporting documentation was required for both portions and has been thoroughly reviewed. And through subsequent extensive negotiations, the department and the contractor have agreed to the final amounts. The necessity for this claim is recognized by the department, and it is recommended that the commission authorize a settlement in the amount of $946,320.70. Because this amount, along with previous changes, exceeds the statutory limit of 10% on new items, commission approval is required. Approval is recommended, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 10?
Motion, Junk.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 11 is proposed bid openings. Ms. Bryant, you're recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and
Good morning.
Commissioners. Item 11, proposed bid openings, consist of the final February 2025, the tentative March 2025, and the tentative April 2025 bid openings. The department recommends approval.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 11?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Coburn.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 12 is the Director's Report. Director Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. As we sit here this morning in 2025, one of the things that resonated with me is that we are now closer to the year 2050 than we are to Y2K. So I'll give you a minute and let that soak in. I don't know about the rest of you gentlemen, but Y2K still is vivid in my mind, and it seems like it was yesterday. So we are just that close to the year 2050. We've seen a lot of change in the last 25 years in our transportation system. It is dramatically improved from where it was in the year 2000. That's been certainly predicated on support from many governors and many legislators, and infusion of additional revenues to the department. We put those revenues to work. And this morning, we've got our year in review video that we're about to queue up for you. And that's a little bit of a look back, highlighting some of the important projects, important work that the department has done during the time period of 2024. So if we've got a video ready to queue.
Throughout 2024, ODOT districts enhance safety to rural two-lane highways by adding shoulders. These projects increase safety, help reduce crashes, and ensure greater travel time reliability for commuters statewide. A couple of projects to note include State Highway 152 in Canadian County and State Highway 3 between Ferris and Lane in Atoka County. April marked the second diverging diamond interchange to open in Oklahoma. The DDI, located at the US 169, State Highway 364 Creek Turnpike, and US 64 Memorial Drive, was created to help alleviate traffic congestion in South Tulsa, as well as help drivers get on and off the Creek Turnpike. Also in April, severe weather and tornadoes hit southern and south central Oklahoma. 7 of the department's 8 statewide field districts were called to help with cleanup in Districts 3 and 7. More than 75 employees and nearly 30 pieces of equipment, including dump trucks, were used to assist emergency responders in Sulphur, Marietta, and Holdenville. Multiple national, local, state, county, and city agencies prepared for more than a year for the total solar eclipse event that hit southeastern Oklahoma on April 8th. The path of totality completely covered McCurtain County and partially covered several other counties in District 2. Crews coordinated locally with Highway Patrol, Emergency Management, and Turnpike officials to educate drivers on expectations, anticipating thousands to flood the area's two-lane highways. Thankfully, there were few disruptions to traffic before and after the event. In May, the iconic Route 66 Bridgeport Pony Bridge was reopened to traffic. The bridge underwent a year-and-a-half-long project that widened and resurfaced the bridge, as well as rehabilitated the original trusses and constructed a new parking area ahead of the Route 66 Centennial in 2026. More than 400 classic cars and nearly 1,000 members of the public attended the opening. In July, ODOT secured $124 million as part of the Federal Highway Administration's Bridge Investment Program for the replacement of the US 70 Roosevelt Bridge across Lake Texoma between Kingston and Durant in southeastern Oklahoma. The grant, one of the largest in ODOT history, combined with bonds, will help pay for the $250 million project currently scheduled for 2029. It will construct a new 4-lane bridge with shoulders, lighting, and other safety features. In June, the Heartland Flyer celebrated 25 years of passenger rail service between Oklahoma City and Fort Worth. Since its launch in 1999, the Heartland Flyer has carried more than 1.7 million passengers between Oklahoma and Texas. October marked the 50th anniversary of the dedication of ODOT's headquarters in Oklahoma City. In October 1974, ODOT moved into what was known then as the Oklahoma Department of Highways office building. November 2024 marked 1 year since Oklahoma became the first state in the nation to require a work zone and first responder safety course for teen drivers. Work Zone Safe is a free program that teaches new drivers how to navigate work zones and introduces them to the faces behind the flags and flashing lights. Since becoming law on November 1st, 2023, more than 63,500 Oklahoma teens have completed the program. The department continued its efforts to enhance safety along the southern I-35 corridor with the addition of wrong-way detection systems. The systems were installed along I-35 between Cleveland County and the Oklahoma-Texas border. The department will now focus on installing the systems through Oklahoma County in 2025.
We accomplished a lot in 2024. You know, again, I think is important for us to do these kind of look back videos because it really causes us to stop and think for a minute about all the things that we went through in 2024. Whether you're talking about the total eclipse and the traffic issues that was going to present, or storm damage, and how the department shows up really to help those communities get back on their feet after a significant event like that. Certainly, we spent a lot of time in those communities, trying to help where we could. And again, that's a credit to our districts and the leadership of our district engineers and the crews that work with us every day. So, work zone safe law, I don't want to minimize that, because what you see on that video is not only investments in Oklahoma's future, but significant investments in the safety of the traveling public. And, that's really got to be our primary focus. And we really make good progress. But that work zone safe and the work that we're doing there with our most vulnerable drivers, which is our young drivers, to make sure that they understand what it's like out there on the highways, especially when they encounter a work zone, is critical to, their safety. And something we're really proud of. That continues to get national attention, and I think you're going to see many states begin to adopt that over the time ahead of us. I want to talk just for a minute about the status of our federal program. We do have a continuing resolution that will carry our federal funding through March the 14th. That's about another quarter's worth of federal funding. The one thing I'll tell you is that will have an impact on us, barring additional revenue beyond March 14th. We will have to make some adjustments in our letting schedules just to be able to accommodate the lack of availability of federal funding. you know, that's always a challenge. It slows things up a little bit. It's not catastrophic for us. We'll manage through it. But again, it does throw a wrench into some of our scheduling activities. And we're hopeful that the Congress will come back in and really get after it under the new administration and make some changes there that will deliver a full year's worth of appropriations so we can have access to those and get ourselves back on a more normal letting schedule. So just be aware of that. We'll continue to keep you posted as we go forward. And at the same time, you're going to begin to hear a lot of discussion about the next highway bill and what that looks like. I was encouraged to hear some of the initial discussions going on about a new focus on an old issue, which is our highway infrastructure. Again, really putting an emphasis back on asphalt and concrete and really trying to make sure that we're investing in the infrastructure that keeps this country moving, especially at the federal level. And I think that's going to be paramount in making sure that we get back to just a highway bill rather than the thing that Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act was, which was a lot of bells and whistles hung on our highway program. So again, that was good news. I'll continue to keep the commission posted on how those developments are going. EJA, Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, expires in 2026. So the Congress will go to work immediately and is working on right now the next highway bill and what that might look like. So looking forward to participating in those discussions. A little bit of a project update on some projects that we know are going to have some significant impacts on traffic in the new year. You know, Highway 152, whether you're talking about the section that is closed to traffic from Mustang to Union City, that closure is going to continue through 2025, and with a good detour on 59th Street a mile north. That's an ongoing project, but also in the Oklahoma City area, we've got one getting ready to start, and that is 152 from Meridian, extending east to I-44, and that's going to improve access to and from the airport. We expect that to start here coming up in February, and it's going to affect airport traffic. Estimated completion is late spring of 2026. That's a widening effort. We'll also do some cleanup work around the exit from 152 onto I-44 and also Southwest 59th Street. So looking forward to getting some good work done there that'll help facilitate the growing traffic volumes we're seeing in the I-44 corridor. Also on I-44, we've got a project that is going to start in the near term, like right now, on Southwest 119th and Southwest 141st or 134th Streets, and they're bridge rehabs. Southwest 119th will start first, and it's going to be narrowed to one lane with signals moving once that's completed to Southwest 134th Street. The disruption there, and those are slab span bridges that are city street bridges over I-44, is just in the interchange proper itself. Both of those locations carry a significant volume of local traffic, so that construction will be disruptive. So we'll do our best to make sure that the traveling public is aware of what's going on there and try our best to minimize impacts in those interchanges. Also kicking off today, or in the near future, is our Hochtown project on US 259. You'll remember that this is a project that connects the 259A intersections on the loop road, and about 2.5 miles. This project is going to widen to a 5-lane section and also include pedestrian improvements. 259 in the Hochtown area is an absolutely critical highway section. In McCurtain County, the activities there at Hochtown and Broken Bow are unique, and certainly they move a lot of tourist traffic. That traffic has to be managed, and this project will be disruptive. The department will have a laser focus on working with the business owners and the neighbors in the area, and we'll get this project done as smoothly as possible. But again, there's no way to do a significant project like this without some disruption. We will have lines of communication open with the communities and the adjacent properties and business owners, and we will be looking forward to, as smooth as we can, getting the project completed. We expect that to be completed by October of 2026. And lastly, we continue to gear up for what will be a very significant construction project and another phase of Interstate 44 and US 75 in Tulsa. We expect the full construction to start in April and want it to be completed by 2028. And the initial work is going to start westbound I-44 to southbound US 75 on the flyover bridge and along Skelly Drive and the frontage road. So again, the first major traffic changes that'll be seen after we start to ramp up our construction will be probably midsummer. So want the traveling public to be aware of those projects, and like I said, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. All construction work is disruptive to traffic. Our best hope is for the traveling public to pay attention and really be careful through those work zones. And that leads into our new year-long safety campaign. Heading into the new year, we're going to be continuing with the Make Oklahoma Safe campaign, but we're going to refocus it on seatbelt use and work zone awareness. Those are two areas that we continue to see problems. And again, asking the traveling public to always buckle their seatbelts. You know, we've had inclement weather here over the last weekend, which always results in some crashes. And, you know, primarily those are going to be speed related. And too many times we have fatalities or severe injuries that occur where if the occupants of the vehicle might have been buckled up, they might have been able to either walk away or at least survive those crashes. So we encourage everybody to buckle their seatbelts. Oklahoma has got to do a better job. That'll help reduce our severe injury, accident, and fatality rates if we can just get everybody to buckle their seatbelt. And when you really start to look at the time of year we're in, we had across the northern tier of the state of Oklahoma some inclement weather. Crews out in District 6 all the way across northern Oklahoma into District 8. And, you know, those guys spent the weekend out there in some brutally cold temperatures and some pretty rough conditions, especially up north towards Kansas. So we want to appreciate them for the work that they did. Remind the traveling public, slow down whenever we have inclement weather. I mean, that's an absolute. We've got to really pay attention to the conditions. Even, you know, the posted black and white speed limits are for ideal conditions, not snow and ice. So we want everybody to slow down, give our trucks some room to operate and to work, and really make a difference out there. Conditions will improve, but also we're looking at another round of it, maybe in here Thursday. So, you know, we are in January. We do have a tendency in Oklahoma to see some of our worst winter weather in January and February. So again, I'd ask the traveling public to really slow down, pay attention, and be extra careful whenever we've got bad weather conditions out there. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would be happy to answer any questions that the commission might have of me.
Thank you. Yes. Oops.
You have told us before our seatbelt usage number, and I want to say it was in the low to mid 60s. Is that?
No.
It's about 84%.
Yeah.
Okay, mid 80s. Okay.
We're like 40th in the nation
Yeah,
or
where
something.
that puts us is a lower tier, probably 44th, 45th in the country in seatbelt usage, which is not a good situation. You know, so we've got to continue to work and really remind the traveling public to buckle up.
Commissioner LaForge?
You said the I-44 bridges south of Oklahoma City Southwest,
Yes, sir.
one lane?
Yeah, there'll be one lane over and managed by a stoplight condition. So it'll be a tough project, but again, the problem that we have with those bridge structures is with the bridge deck, and the only way to have at least some traffic flow there is to do it down to one lane.
One lane on I-44 or one
No,
lane
on the city street over.
Okay, City Street open.
Yep, there'll be some intermittent lane closures on 44, but it won't be for extended periods.
Okay, it scared me for a minute. Okay.
That's right, isn't it, Chief? Yeah. Yep, so again, the major impact, obviously with the amount of traffic flow into those interchanges and the disruption of the city street over, we're gonna see some backups very likely out onto the interstate proper. And that's something we're gonna try to be attentive to. But those are significantly used city streets that funnel a lot of traffic onto Interstate 44, and there's just no good way to do that work without big traffic impacts, which is why we're taking them on one at a time. We're gonna do 119th and then move to 134th, so.
Very good. If commissioners have no other comments or questions, I'd hear a motion for item 13, which is adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a
Second
second?
LaForge.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. We are adjourned.